When do you think the next NHL season will begin? 18% said the 1st of January. The overwhelming winner here in terms of responses was at 47% almost, sometime in January. By the way, that's what I agree with, and I'll explain in just a second. 20% said in February, and 14.9% said March or later. Now, look, it's obvious that we're getting a little bit late in the game here for a January 1st start. And I know that's what Gary Bettman said specifically a while back, but I think what you have to interpret from that was it was going to be a best-case scenario if, in fact, January 1st could work out. And thinking about the back timing here, a lot of these teams are going to need at least 2 weeks to get ramped up officially and started, and nobody wants to do it too quickly. You're only going to subject your players to potential injuries. I think we saw that even in the restart over the summer. If you do it too fast, you're going to pay the effects that you definitely don't want. Not just that, but a lot of teams like the Sharks, who did not even get to play in last season's bubbles in Edmonton and Toronto, they're going to want and likely get an extra week of ramping up simply because the fact that by the time there's a next season, they've already not played for 8 months. It might be 9 or 10 months since their last meaningful game. So for me, sometime in January, like I said, is what the gut is telling me. It's what all the observations are telling me. That's a more realistic target to shoot for. But I also want to say here, if you start getting into February and March, there's kind of a double-edged sword here. On one side, the nation's health crisis and the pandemic, the global pandemic, it might start getting a little bit better. There may be some steps taken. There might be some more avenues to start hockey in a more efficient and appropriate fashion. But at the same respect, the later you start this, the more condensed your schedule is going to have to be, the more you're really going to have to figure things out. And by the way, we could be talking about total realignment here, a Canadian division, a couple American divisions. We could be talking about series of games instead of playing this team, then that team. It could be like baseball. A lot of that has already been discussed. But again, pushing things back gets maybe better from a health standpoint, but it doesn't improve things from a logistics standpoint, especially when you consider that hockey's going to have to, at some point, try and start their next season after this one on time, so they need a normal summer break. They cannot really play through August, kind of like they were doing last year.